Have you ever been handed a very big project by your boss and you're looking at all the work that has to be done and wondering, how the heck am I going to do this? Where do I even start? How do I break this down and actually get this done? I got too much else going on. I'd have emails to check. I have fires to put out. This is a big project. What am I going to do? There's a lot of ways that you can facilitate getting that project done, and it just means breaking it up and working on it in a simplistic way. That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's discuss. Hey, welcome back to HyperAcademy. My name is Ryan Fields-Spack. It's a ruthless world out there. How do you step up and stand out? You do it by getting your mind right, and that's what HyperAcademy is here to talk about. Today we're going to talk about getting projects done. There's tons of productivity information out there and out here on YouTube and on podcasts that you can really dive into to dive deeply into this. Today we're going to talk about one piece. I'll give you some other references that you can utilize to be able to work through some of these processes. These are some of the challenges that I've faced, that I've gone through, and that I utilize in order to get these big projects done. Hopefully it will help out for you. As I said, my name is Ryan Fields. Before we get started, I wanted to quickly give you a gift. This is a guide. This is a dedicated tool that you can be able to utilize when you are getting ready to start doing something that's stressful, whether you're starting a project like this, whether you're diving deeply, whether you're getting ready to present to a group of people. Those nerves, those anxiety levels can increase. And there's a way to calm that anxiety, reduce those nerves by doing a process called First Just Breathe. It's a mindfulness exercise. It doesn't take long at all. It only takes about 10 seconds to complete. And the guide that you can get in the description below at hyperacademy.mykajabi.com/10 seconds will literally walk you through the entire process for how you can focus your mind, lower your pulse, lower your blood pressure, and really be able to perform in the moment so that you can present this large project that you've built. So if you like, you can get that guide for free. It takes about 5 minutes to read. Once you've got it down and in your head, you're able to perform this exercise in 10 seconds in 3 steps. It's really easy to do. So hyperacademy.mykajabi.com/10 seconds. I'll put the link in the description below, and let's get into it. So when we're talking about these big projects, whether you are handed a project that you have to complete that includes building a presentation deck, writing a document or a report that goes along with it, or you have a massive project where you have a whole team of people that you're bringing together to be able to facilitate a large program. There's a ton of stuff that goes into that. So how do you, as kind of the project manager or the lead on this project, get things settled and get it set and get it organized? I use a lot of things that kind of go along with the agile process. So if you're looking at agile network, agile project management, this is kind of where this comes from. I use a product called Trello. Microsoft has Planner. There's a number of different ones that you can use, but basically you have a blank whiteboard that you can start throwing some of those things into. And the way that I set it up is I have a massive board which is just for the entire project. So let's say that your project is to roll out a new initiative for your organization. That would be your board, right? And then in that board there would be epics. And epic is basically the umbrella for the component of the project that you need to complete. So if you are rolling out this initiative for your project, well, maybe you have the operations, maybe you have marketing, maybe you also have sales included in it, right? You know, you can put your components in there. Each of those epics will have the dedicated umbrella of information that you need to put in there. So go through wide space and just think of all the different components, the big chunks that will need to be taken care of, and put that into a list, whether it's in Trello or Planner or even just on a piece of paper. These are the big chunks that I need to do and list those out. Once you've got that down, you can step back, look at what the broad scope of everything that you're looking at, what you need to do, and put it in place. And now you can start to break that down a little bit further, right? So you have your epics, and then what I do is I use a program in Trello specifically called Hello Epics, which allows you to create children within a card. And essentially what that means is you've got your primary marketing component, your marketing epic. Now, what are the things that need to be done in order to accomplish that marketing requirement? Well, you have a multitude of things. You need to identify your customer or your the person that you're marketing to. You need to build the copy for the marketing. You need to set up your initiative for social media. All of these different things would be children that go along with that. And then within each of those children, you've got the tasks that you need to complete in order to do that, right? So if you're building the copy, you need to decide, all right, what is it that we are talking about? How am I going to craft that copy? And then you need to physically sit down and start drafting the copy for the individual pieces and parts, right? So within each child, you've got a checklist of things that need to be done within that child. Right? So those are the kind of things that you can sit back, broad scope, and get everything mapped out and down on paper so that you can move this forward and at least have kind of a spine or an outline of how you're going to accomplish all of this. You haven't actually done anything yet, right? But at least now you've got the pieces and parts that you can look at and start assigning off and working on, right? So that's the good stuff. That's getting that all set up. But now when we need to actually get to work, how are we going to facilitate this? And there's a couple of different ways that I suggest when you're getting ready to actually sit down and do the work. That's the most challenging part. How do you do that? You've got emails coming in. As I said, you've got fire drills to put out. You have a lot of different activities. Just trying to find the time to actually start working on these things, getting over that hump is the biggest challenge. The first thing that I do every single day, and I know it may sound a little weird, is I meditate. By sitting down and meditating every single morning for as much time as you can allow yourself, scientific studies have shown that for each minute that you meditate, you get 9 back in productivity for the rest of the day, right? So if you meditate for 10 minutes, you're buying yourselves 90 minutes worth of productivity during the day. Meditation is extremely simple. I've got some other videos here on the HyperAcademy YouTube channel that talks about meditation, but essentially what it is you sit down in a calm, quiet place, get comfortable, set a timer for whatever time you have. I can do 2 minutes, I can try to do 10 or maybe even 15, and then focus on your breath. In breath, out breath. And inevitably your mind's going to start to wander, right? Once your mind starts to wander, the key with meditation is noting, acknowledging, and bringing yourself back to the present moment of breathing, right? That's all meditation is. Very simple, but you're building the muscles in your mind to acknowledge when your mind starts to wander and it gets pulled away to other things, and then bring it back. So when you go to do your work during the day, you will now have the ability to perform better because you'll know when the tweet comes in that you want to read. You'll acknowledge it. You'll bring yourself back to the present moment, right? Meditation is huge for improving upon your productivity. Second thing you want to do is set aside time. Block off time on your calendar. Turn off the notifications on your phone and tell all of your colleagues that you are heads down working on this project. People will give you space if you acknowledge it ahead of time, and oftentimes they shouldn't be calling you, right? So that's one of the biggest things that you can do is set aside that distraction-free time. Book it on your calendar so you know during your biological prime time, the time that you feel you're most productive, you know you're going to be working on that for the day. Set it ahead of time. That way you don't allow yourself to get distracted or get pulled into other things. And then what you want to do is single task, right? We all try to multitask quite a bit. I've got a video on this channel that talks about how multitasking simply doesn't work. Single tasking is really the best way to go about that. And single tasking has another word for it too. It's called mindfulness. Mindfulness is basically the component that you did when you were meditating where you noted and you brought yourself back to the present moment. That is, in essence, what mindfulness is when you're not meditating, right? So you're sitting down, you're getting ready to do some of your work, and you see that tweet come in, or you feel that buzz on your wrist with your watch. Noting it, bring yourself back to the present moment will be absolutely critical for that. Studies have shown that if you are in the moment working on something and you get distracted, it can take 20, 25, 30 minutes just to get back to where you were in your product. to be able to get back being productive, right? So you can see how noting things with your meditation and noting things from a mindfulness perspective will allow you to be much more productive, because when you get pulled away, you're not losing 20 minutes, right? You're coming right back to it. That's where your time is really being built back up and produced. So focus on an epic, grab one of the children, and then take one of those children and get as many tasks as you can done during your heads down deep work time. Acknowledging distractions, staying with it. And what you'll find is oftentimes, even the time that you set for yourself to do the work, that will fly by and you will get much more produced. And even when your time is up, you may continue working, right? So a lot of different components to think about. I wanted to make this quick, short video for you so that you can at least have a bit of an appreciation. But I'm curious, what tools, what techniques, what tips do you have for the community here about how to be more productive, how to work on those large scale projects? This is just one very small component. This is one way that I work on it, but there are hundreds of other ways to do it. So leave a comment below. What do you do that's important, that's helpful for you? And maybe that will help out some other people that are watching with us right now. Don't forget, if you like, you can grab that guide below that will really help you to improve upon your ability to perform in the moment, to lower that anxiety level at hyperacademy.mykajabi.com/10 seconds. And if you do like this type of content, subscribe to the channel. I post every week a lot of different components about productivity, about professional development, leadership, mindfulness, meditation, a lot of great things. If you also enjoy this video, I would truly appreciate a thumbs up if you think I've earned it. Hope you have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.